We're chatting with the very lovely Crystina Poncher of Top Rank Boxing. Crystina, how excited or how happy are you that the fight with Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao is finally taking place? And what are your thoughts about the series of events that unfolded to actually make the fight happen?
I mean, I'm just as happy as everybody else that, I can't tell you, other than the question about my ethnicity, I think the second most asked question when people find out I work in boxing is Pacquiao and Mayweather ever going to fight? So simply for that reason alone, I'm ecstatic. But you know what? It took a lot to make this fight happen. I mean, some people would say it was 5 years in the making or 5 years too late. But with that being said, it's going to break all kinds of records, pay-per-view buys to dates, and it by chance, these two fighters, Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, had a chance to, for the first time, talk face-to-face after a Miami Heat game. And I think that was the moment where everything kind of became real to everybody. And the wheels started ticking, from that point on. Some may say that they were already thinking, considering Pacquiao really for the first time was calling out Floyd in the post-fight press conference after he fought Chris Algieri in Macau. And that was kind of the first time where you're like, all right, well, he is really calling him out. Maybe this fight is going to be made happen. And when they met at that Heat game, I mean, speaking with Manny Pacquiao, he called it fate. I mean, they were supposed to get on a flight and leave Miami that day, and the flight was delayed, and they both ended up sitting courtside. They were playing, I think, the Bucks. So I don't know why they would want to go see the Heat versus the Bucks if you follow NBA. But anywho, that meeting really kind of set the tone. They met in the hotel room later that night, and things were off and running from there.
It's still somewhat interesting to me to hear some of the criticism around the topic that this fight is happening 5 years too late. Is that criticism fair? Or should we as boxing fans, or even sports fans for that matter, simply celebrate and embrace the fact that this fight is actually and finally taking place?
Yeah, I mean, I think the latter of what you said. I mean, we just need to be happy that the fight is being made happen. And yeah, maybe in terms of, how the fight would have gone in the ring, it could have been better, but we never know. And the fight hasn't happened yet. So who's to say that we won't see an outstanding, extremely entertaining fight? I mean, it's really hard to live up to the hype, and as much as this fight has generated, but look, both are very more mature boxers at this point. Yes, they're older, but in their skill set, they've developed, and maybe got hit a little bit more in the later part of their career. So maybe it will make for a more entertaining fight at this point, and that's yet to be seen. We will find out May 2nd. But at the end of the day, I mean, to be working in boxing and to be a boxing fan, or even a casual fan of boxing, to be able to say I was there, or I witnessed, or I watched, it's just one of those moments in sports history that everyone's going to want to watch and be a part of. So we should, I think, overall just be thankful that it is happening and that it's not something that was, darn it, I wish before they retired that we would have just seen that. No asterisks whatsoever. Like, they just are going to fight, and that will be it.
You mentioned things like skill set and maturity. So how do you think they're going to match up? What are each fighter's strengths and advantages?
Well, I think, for looking at Floyd Mayweather, I mean, obviously his record speaks for himself. He's undefeated. He's dominated basically every fight that he's been in, and he's just such a brilliant technician. He knows exactly what to do when he's in the ring. He finds the opening in his opponent's defense. He's so precise with his punching, and nobody's been able to figure that out. And then on the other hand, you have Manny Pacquiao, who's won 8 titles in 8 different divisions, been able to just move up and just take care of business. No, he's not the knockout artist he used to be, but him and Freddie, speaking with them both, will just attribute that to him being a smarter fighter, being less aggressive in terms of reckless aggression, and more focusing on angles and his speed. And he still does have that power. It was relevant in most of his recent fights, although they haven't ended by knockout, knocking Algieri down several times. And he is a little more cautious. You can't deny the fact that knockout that he suffered against Marquez didn't have effect on him. But if anything, he says it's made him smarter with his aggression. Freddie would agree with that as well.
You've been following both fighters leading up to this fight. You've been, up close and personal, observing Pacquiao's training camp. Floyd on his social media platforms, he's posting pictures of him, and he's chopping wood, he's swimming laps, he's doing some unconventional things to prepare for this fight. what are some of the training regimens or the preparation from Mayweather and Pacquiao that has caught your attention?
Well, I've been able to see some of Manny's training. I haven't personally been able to see any of Floyd's training. I've seen everything that you guys have had, and I've had a chance to talk with his publicist and get some information on what he's been doing. But I mean, they like to say that it's business as usual with Floyd in his training camp. I would beg to differ a little bit, considering the impact and the importance of this fight. Floyd saying this is undoubtedly the biggest fight of his career, and I think that is why he's trying some different tactics. Whether the whole hire of Alex Ariza was really, more of I don't want to say mind game, but kind of more of a mental thing than it is how much he really helps him physically is yet to be seen. But I know with Manny Pacquiao, it was really important for him to continue to do the road work. He likes to work outside. They tried to work out at a track at UCLA for a little while, and that didn't work out as well. He wanted to get back in the hills and be around the people. I'm sure anybody that's watched social media over the past few weeks has seen that there have been hundreds of people out there to watch him work out. But they really are just, putting together their game plan. Floyd is a difficult fighter to game plan for, but I think Freddie has had Floyd on his mind for quite some time now, and even talking with Manny at his media day, he said, we both kind of came to the table with some ideas, and, we're hoping that the game plan that we put together is going to be the best one, but I said it better be, because they'll need it, but both fighters will make adjustments in the ring, and I think sparring has been great for both, and we'll really see how Floyd Mayweather can deal with the best southpaw that he's ever faced.
Share with us your thoughts on the importance of this fight and what it means in defining each fighter's legacy.
Sure. I mean, I think that a win, obviously, for either one is monumental for their career. For Floyd to be able to say that whether he wants to retire after this or not, that he's been able to finish undefeated, and there's no questions as to who the best boxer of this era is because he's fought Manny and he's beat him. I mean, I even think it's more important to the legacy of Floyd Mayweather than I do for Manny Pacquiao. I mean, for Manny, he's suffered defeat. He's suffered defeat 5 times already, so it's not like he's protecting a zero. It's more like he wants this for the fans, and he talks about for his sons. I mean, he goes home and deals with his kids every day, like, Dad, when are you going to fight Floyd? Like, are you going to do this before you retire? And I think it's more for him to be able to say, yeah, I did it. And I think for Floyd, it's more so, I did it and I beat him. I think more of the pressure for the legacy standpoint is on Floyd Mayweather than it is Manny Pacquiao. I think most people are expecting Floyd to win, but I think more of the fans and stuff would like to see Manny Pacquiao with the upset, if you will.
We're chatting with Crystina Poncher of TopRank.tv. Crystina, what do you think each fighter needs to do to remain competitive throughout the duration of their fight on May 2nd?
Well, I think it really depends on when they get in the ring, and I think a lot is going to depend on how Floyd feels Manny's power. The first time he gets cracked by Manny, if he does, which I anticipate he will, I think it'll determine a lot in the ongoing rounds about how he decides to fight the fight. I mean, he could clam up, he could just stay defensive, he could not engage, he could not stand there, he can just control the ring from the outside, fight it with his back against the ropes and be effective and maybe win a close decision. But I think that if he's not impressed or if he's not rocked or if he's not hurt by Manny's power, I think we'll see a more entertaining fight. I think he will engage more than usual, and I think for Manny, it'll be really important to kind of set that pace. I think Manny has to be the aggressor. I think Manny has to outwork Floyd in the amount of punches because that's the way that he's going to win those rounds if he's more effective and aggressive. Now, Manny has had some trouble slightly with guys that box and move. He would prefer his opponents to kind of stay close and stand there and engage with him. I don't see Floyd Mayweather doing that unless he just doesn't feel Manny's power the way he maybe thinks that how hard he's going to hit. I think he's going to feel it out the first couple of rounds, and that will dictate the pace of the fight.
Sure.
And then I think it's going to go into a decision. I just don't. Me personally, I'm not really going to predict the fight, but I see it going a decision either way. I just think this is too important, and they're going to be too cautious, and I don't necessarily see this fight ending in a knockout. But stranger things have happened.
Some of the interesting things that Floyd is sharing with us on social media recently, he just posted a picture of the mouthpiece that he's going to use for the fight, and it was worth like over 20 grand, and it was a mouthpiece stuffed filled with money. Christina, what's the most you've ever spent on an accessory, either job related or in your personal life?
Wow, I've never been asked that question before. How much I've ever spent on accessories? What a nice watch. I feel like watches are something that are pun intended timeless, right? So. I think that was something nice, and I mean, I'm not a big spender, to be honest with you. I mean, to see how Floyd, spends his money. I mean, obviously he has a ton, and I kind of like that he puts the money where his mouth is, literally, and spent that money on the mouthpiece and had it made in there because look, money talks, right? And that's what he does. So more things for us to talk about, but I mean, it's so crazy how much Floyd spends on himself and on his team and on his cars. When you see Manny, and it's like he just gives his money away. His entourage, like 50 people, but he's just paying for everything for everybody, just donating the money, giving it away, charity, church, everything like that. I mean, they're pretty opposite in terms of the ways they spend their money and their demeanor. But who's to say? I mean, you work hard and you make that money. It's up to you and how you want to spend it. But for me, a nice watch and maybe a couple nice pairs of shoes, but nothing too crazy, not yet.
Now, if you're going to watch the fight from home like I am, it looks like it's going to set you back about $100. There's been some criticism around that discussion that the price is too high. I feel that the price associated with that, given the fact that this is going to be the biggest sporting event in recent history, that the price tag associated with the pay-per-view purchase is adequate. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, that's what I was going to say. I mean, yes, it's $100 for the, HD version. Of course, you're not going to watch it in standard def. You're going to want to watch it in high def. But I mean, most people will be watching this fight with friends or with family, just like you watch the Super Bowl or even any other major sporting event. A lot of people that are into it will watch with friends and family. So everyone pitches in $10 or $20, or everybody brings some food, and you all get together and have the chance to watch together and make memories and discuss. I really don't think for the fight of the century, spending $100 is astronomical. Yeah, it's a little bit high, but it's a lot cheaper than the ticket prices are, and you're a lot better off in the comfort of your own home or with your friends and family spending $100 than the thousands that it will cost for people to be in the crazy mix that will be Las Vegas on that day. So if I wasn't working the fight, if I didn't have a credential around my neck and I wasn't working, then I would be sitting at home watching with friends and family as well.
Christina, thank you for taking the time to chat. Everyone go check out toprankboxing.com. It seems like it's going to be a great fight week leading up to the fight May 2nd, and we look forward to your coverage all week long. The very lovely Crystina Poncher of Top Rank Boxing, thanks again for taking the time to chat, and we'll check in with you soon.
Thank you, Richard. Yeah, I'll be there all week long with Top Rank, and we covered Manny's media day yesterday. Interviews are up right now on Top Rank's website and on their YouTube, and you can follow my pictures and my journey alongside on Twitter, and we'll have videos all fight week long, starting from Monday of fight week when we're there in the gym with Manny right before we get ready to head to Vegas. So lots more to come, but I'm just happy it's happening, and thank you, Richard, for having me.